I'll make a motion to approve the AP manifest and payroll manifest as written.
Great. So do I have a second? All right. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the AP and payroll manifest as written, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay? We're at the public forum number 2, in accordance with policy VEDH. 3 minutes each. If you spoke before and you want to speak again, I'll start from the right and go to the left. I see a quick hand from Jan Bentoncourt.
Yep.
You're up.
I sent all of you information about the critical race theory forum. I don't know if you read it yet. Tomorrow, at 7 o'clock is a Zoom. I really think that we all need to know more about the critical race theory and what's going on. I also sent a link to a wonderful, I call it the Critical Race Theory 101. It really helps to outline what it is, where it comes from, should we be concerned, and why. I hope you will at least read that article, but even more, that the forum looks well represented with some quite impressive people on the forum. And Russ or Jesse, if you want to send it on to others, I think it's just important. It's important for all of us to know about. And appreciate if you would follow up on that. Thank you.
Russ said, Allenstown's bond passed as long as they get the financing. I thought that was as long as they get the state. I just think that's a pretty interesting thing for them to do, where they basically say, yeah, we'll do it if we get the funding. And if you guys are going to move forward with another bond, it seems like that would be a good idea to do the same thing. You know what? If we get the funding, you might actually get some more people to vote for it. You know, like, hey, we're going to get up to 30% funding. We won't do it unless we get the funding. Some people might, you got those people on the border go, well, if we get that 30%, okay. So just food for thought. If that worked for them, then maybe it worked for you. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lawson, please.
So who in the end has the ultimate decision regarding the nursing staffing for the school?
This is a public comment. In my respect for you being here for the first time, the superintendent makes a proposal, the board votes yes or no. But I want you to take advantage of your 3 minutes for your opinion. Tell us how you feel. So we can
Yeah.
learn from it.
Well, it's a shame that this is even up for discussion. I feel like we're putting our kids' lives in the hands of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people, the minority of the towns, compared to how the rest of the town would feel regarding this situation. It's very uneasy that this is even being brought up. Why now? I have 3 kids that go to the elementary school, and it's a real shame that I would have to think about whether or not my kids will get the right health care needed if that problem was to ever arise. You have Miss Adrian that has a son that has severe health problems. Like Meg said, you can't do telehealth imagine doing that with a kindergartner compared to a senior in high school. Everyone's different. Everyone needs the right amount of care, though. You can't deny that.
Thank you for being present and voicing your opinion. Anyone else?
I couldn't hear, I don't know if I couldn't hear a lot of stuff that you guys are saying. I know it's the rain and stuff. I'm wondering if we could get microphones when you're talking. Kerry, you said something at the beginning of CIP we're doing, and I couldn't hear anything from that point. And then you said, well, we'll see what happens. So I don't know what you were talking about. And I think we just clarified, Russ, the Allenstown's going to get all 19 million maybe, and that's what the state had put in for. So we might get the scraps if there's any left. Is that kind of how it's going? Okay, that's what it was. And then the other comment, Andy, with the 2-year bio thing, is there anything that states we couldn't use that right here at this school? if we put a biomass system here versus, I know you were looking to do it over there, but if we're gonna put a new heating system here and we went biomass, would we be able to use that grant money for this school?
I don't know.
Okay, I mean, just again, something to go back and find out. I mean, we know we're gonna have to do a heating system here eventually, so if there's money on the table for it.
Yeah, thank you. And I think you was a weird fan of the audio, so we struggle with it anyway in the gym. So for everybody here and everybody at home, Brady's doing the best he can.
Yeah.
It's never happened in 4 years I've been on the board, so now we know what it sounds like during a much needed rainstorm. So acknowledging that audio has been a challenge. We hear you on the microphone.
Just a quick comment, is it possible to get lavalier mics? Because even in a normal meeting, I feel sometimes it's very hard to hear any of you. And then on the videos, it's even harder. So even if they're really inexpensive, the mics are really inexpensive.
I'll give you the money for the mics. Scott, I can't hear you whether you're wearing a mic or not on the video, so if we could all have mics, that would be great. I'll pay for those.
Yeah, well, after the challenge tonight, all comments are due and appropriate regarding the noise. We take it over with that. Okay. Your agenda items for next. Yes, please. Sorry about that.
All right, so I would again like to address the message. 25% of children have chronic illnesses, including asthma, epilepsy, hypertension, food allergies, diabetes. 13 to 20% of children experience mental health disorder, including ADHD, anxiety, depression, substance abuse. Especially with COVID, my child has had a really rough time with COVID. His anxiety is through the roof, and we've utilized the school nurse several times a day, trying to keep his hand washing down. He goes down to her, gets multiple things. Teaching someone how to use an EpiPen, an inhaler, administering medications. I know Russell was like, well, we can train these people how to do that. I gotta tell you, a nurse gets 4 years in school. She has 2 years of clinicals. I have 10 years on a unit. I have 3 years in an ICU. I don't know what Sarah has, and I don't know what the nurse that you're going to choose has. I have 3 years in an ambulatory care setting. And that's not something that you can bestow on someone who has no medical background. In an emergency, you want someone who's going to be right there, stabilizing the patient during the 10 or 15 minutes when the EMS is coming to arrive. If you have head trauma, you have someone who has a severe allergic reaction and requires an EpiPen, or asthma and requires the right inhaler. You need a nurse that's going to be present and doesn't have to take 15 minutes to get there, where EMS is going to beat them there.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that and your expertise. Taking a last scan so I don't leave something out by accident. In the back,
I'd
please.
also like to voice my concern because my son likes to have you again with you. This is really hard. Luckily, I'm at the school and that makes him feel so much better. But if I didn't, big concern.
Being here, if you're more comfortable writing that out in an email, sending that to us, we will all read it. Thank you for it. Okay. Other voices? All right. Thank you for active, engaged public and many comments tonight. We need to look out to the June meeting. So one minor topic I want to add is this yearly challenge of having our 12th meeting. We don't meet in July. So we have a second meeting in August. So I just want you to be thinking about what week in combination, because it tends to be everybody in the board and some of the administration, just like at work, at Hypertherm, everyone seems to take vacation in August. When I started on the board, there was no June, I think, or July meeting, so we don't have the June meeting. We instituted a few years ago the ritual of having a second August meeting. So we still have the meeting but it goes around the July break. The August meeting is some of the heaviest lifting, that and right before the vote. So it's in our best interest. I'm asking it as chair and just as a teammate that we have a second meeting in August so that we can have 2 reasonable serving sizes, and it also gives the public more likelihood of attending. So be thinking about which week in August we can add that second meeting.
So just for clarification, we've only had 2 weeks in August last year. We typically have no July, and then we have the 3rd or 4th week in August.
Yeah, the end of,
Followed immediately by the September.
right, so I'm thinking it's gonna likely fall, I had the dates written down,
So
so
you're-
it was the
you're-
3rd or
you're-
the 4th. We gotta pick one.
The week of the 16th or the 23rd of August.
Yeah.
And then followed up, depending on when you do that, on September 1st, which is a Wednesday.
Which is a Wednesday.
So it
so
will be
push
2
those
weeks
early.
apart.
Right.
There'll technically be an August meeting and a September meeting,
Right.
not 2 August meetings.
Right,
Just-
they're
just
2 weeks
clarify.
apart, yes. So thank you for the clarification. It's the meeting before the big one to start the school year, so terming it a little bit more accurately. So it's gonna be in the 16th, or what was the other one?
23rd.
16th or
Week of
23rd.
the 16th or 23rd, so 18th.
Do you want to take a moment right now and look at your calendars? Do you guys know summer plans? It's fair to ask you in June, it's probably not fair to ask you in May.
I
So we'll
think
figure
the-
that out, just so we can get it on the docket for the rest of the time.
I think the last week personally works the best because we have our kids home, we're not on vacation the last week, and we're trying to get them settled down to start school.
Yeah.
The 3rd week, still on vacation.
Yeah, it's usually that week before that people are grounded again. So we'll just figure it out for sure, just so we can have the meeting scheduled for the rest of the year published with that one included. I don't have, we're gonna have the CIP update for the June meeting.
So you'll have the paras, you'll have the.
Right, your updates we already talked about.
ABC,
Yep.
you want ABC update, or you talked about sort of that restructure, you want to look at that, or no?
Might not be a bad time to take a crack at it. Let's commit to a discussion on it. We don't necessarily have to give it 20 minutes, and if we get to something we feel good about, then we can go ahead and go forward from there. And if not, we can let it sit over the summer and pick it up in the fall.
So then obviously you'll get a CIP.
Yep.
And a finance update too, right?
Yep.
With your follow-ups from the.
Your
discussion
homework on
later.
So, I mean, that stuff's ready to go, so I don't know how much, I mean, I won't have a whole lot of response, I don't think. I know Sean and Walter went to the open house last night and, met with 6 or 7 different folks. But that stuff's in the works, the stuff that I've been tasked with.
Yeah, so even if it's a brief update, I think it's good. People are curious about the tuition and what we can do for more revenue and more students. So even if it's brief. So we are going to go into non-public, and then we are not going to return to a public meeting. So I'm making a motion that we move that this board go into non-public session to act upon a matter if the matter is referenced in the following provisions: RSA 91-A, semicolon 3 II. This is the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee, or the disciplining of such employee, or investigation of charges against him or her, unless the employee affected has the right to the meeting, to request the meeting be open, in which case the request will be granted. Do I have a seconded before we do a voice? I need a voice roll call. If you want to just go down in order, that works to be compliant. Saying your name as a yes.
Okay, Scott Woodsmith.
Andy Nichols?
Carrie McCall,
Ed Anderson.
Jesse Tyler. Thank you for attending tonight and being local.